Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Twig Archery. You know, over the last so many years, there's been quite a few guys that have asked me about why we never carried a nice, inexpensive longbow like we do with the recurve, with the sage and the red stag. But the main reason is very simple. There were none. And I tried many longbows over the years, but none of them really panned out to really what I wanted. And until they come out with this new bow here. And this is the Big Rock Black Hunter takedown longbow, just really nice. Got a lot of nice little features on it. We'll just start first of all. I'm going to lay the bow down here so Gail can get a shot of, so you can see the bow in the unstrung position here, and then here's the strung position. Reflex, deflex design on the limbs, and that's kind of what you'd call a hybrid longbow of today, which a lot of guys are really going to the hybrids because they're just so nice shooting. There's no hand shock to them, and they're quick, speed, and there's no limb tip action out at the limb tips like you might get with a recurve. So the hybrids are really the big longbows, big selling longbows out there right now. First we'll take the bow here, and we're going to start out at the limb tip. The limb tips are reinforced with phenolic, which is a very strong material that's put out there. So you can put a fast fight string on here, or a modern type string material on the bow. Bow comes with a B50 string, but like I say, you can, to get a little bit better performance, more speed, you can go with a fast fight string. We come down, we see here that we've got the 2 limb bolts. Also, there's a pin alignment on each limb there, so you got the double alignment here like you would have on very expensive bows, and that works out nice. Also, what makes this bow a little unique is the way the contour, these bevels are put here on the limbs to the riser. Generally, you don't see this unless you're talking in a very expensive longbow, and some longbows can go very expensive nowadays. This longbow pretty much would fall, normally to me, would fall in like a $400 to $500 category. But there's also a bevel up here too, you see. So that really adds to the bow, rather than just being everything real square and blocky. It's got a nice little 15-inch riser with long sweeping limbs, and that really adds to the way the bow shoots, as far as the smoothness of it. The bow can be drawn to 30 inches. We haven't filled any stacking or anything out to 30, and I think that's because the riser is shorter and the limbs are very long. All the action is going to be in those limbs. The shelf here is radius quite a bit, as you can see here, and so is the side sight window here. It's actually radius in like this, and that really is a nice feature too, because that only allows the arrow to make contact in just one little location right there. So the less the arrow contacts the wood in places, the better off you are as far as getting good arrow flight. The bow is very center shot from what I can tell. I believe it's cut past center. If you put an arrow and knock it on there and you would look straight down, the arrow is going to be going straight down. It's not going to be coming off to the left here like you'll see with some bows that aren't center shot. And when they're center shot like that, that allows the bow to be very forgiving of spine of the arrow. So you can get away with more different spined arrows on this type of a bow than you can on one where the arrow is coming off to the left here. It's got a real nice little grip to it. Arrows, the arrow would sit slightly above your hand, shooting it totally instinctively, and that's really kind of what you're really looking for. It's got a nice feel to the whole grip itself. It's not a real big grip. It's more of a delicate type riser, and the reason they can make a delicate riser like this, a lot of times they can't make a delicate riser. They have to make more bulky risers because they need that wood in there for the strength. But in this case, they're using action wood, charcoal action wood. Action wood is just multiple laminations of wood that are glued together and then that makes for a very strong riser on the bow. So they can go with a smaller type riser, which really feels nice. The finish is a very satin type finish. I mean, you could take the bow right out hunting, make a great little hunting bow because it's only 60 inches long, so you could use it really nice out of a tree stand or out of a ground blind of any type. The limbs are very nice and smooth down the edges. A lot of times you'll feel on inexpensive bows, you'll feel real rough type finish work down here. These feel really nice coming down here, and of course you can see the little limb tips are another good feature on a bow, because when you have the small limb tip, you get like less hand shock, and you get more speed, and just makes for a nicer shooting bow. You don't get any limb tip action, so you don't feel that boinginess going on out at your limb tips like you will with some like recurs. And so anyway, the bow would come from Twig Archery, set up, meaning it would have the shelf and side plate, nocking point installed, and the cat whiskers. As far as the shooting of the bow, we know the bow shoots very well. The bow just took 3rd place in the state championships here in Ohio in 2016, and that was shooting against a lot of very expensive custom longbows, and so it's really a nice shooting bow. Got a real nice feel to it. And I think that's about all we wanted to cover today. We'll be carrying these in the longbow only and in right hand only at this time, in 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and 55 pound. 60 pound are available by special order, and so are the left-handed. Any left-handed longbow we can order in special for a customer. So I guess that about covers it for today, and I want to thank you for joining us. You can check the bow out. We got some pretty nice pictures on our website at www.twigarchery.com, and you can check it out there. And thanks for joining us today at Twig Archery. Remember to shoot twig and score big.